'Tis the season to be really jolly here on Miss Earth Crown. After a successful and unparalleled coverage of Miss Earth 2020, Miss Earth Crown moves forward with a new look, a new brand, and new original content. This is MEC TV. This Christmas season, witness the premiere of our brand new show, In Focus, a show where we ask important questions, one-on-one. And for the premiere season of In Focus, all eyes are on Miss Earth USA 2021. And our American queens will be here to prove why they should be the next Miss Earth USA. And in the coming year, get ready for a bigger and bolder Miss Earth 2021, the MEC coverage. With our shows that will definitely keep you posted. MEC in Focus. One-on-one, hot button, hot topics. MEC Inside Stories. Interviews with present and past queens and more special guests. An MEC Pageant Roundup, your weekly dose of Miss Earth pageant analysis during the Miss Earth season. So join us starting this holiday season and in the coming year with a heavy dose of Miss Earth that only MEC TV can deliver. Hello, good evening everyone, straight here from Japan, and good morning to our Earthlings in the USA and the rest of the world. My name is Emmanuel Feliciano. I am the creative content head of Miss Earth Crown and your host for tonight. First of all, before everything else, Happy New Year! Happy 2021 Earthlings! Thank you very much for being with us through 2020, and we hope that you will also be with us through 2021. And since today is our first episode for 2021, this is definitely very special. That is why we have a very special guest tonight. And of course, we are very excited to have her with us. I'm sure you are too. So please key in your comments, your shout out requests, and then later on your questions so that we can ask them to our special guest. And of course, I am not going to go around beat around the bush anymore. I'm already very excited. So I'm going to introduce to you our guest for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. In Focus, Miss Alyssa Klinzing, Miss California Earth 2021. Hi, Alyssa.
Hello, good evening, and good morning for the US.
I know. Thank you very much. I know that it's so early there right now, so thank you very much for waking up or staying up for us today. We really, really appreciate it, and I'm sure our Earthlings and your supporters are already excited. How are you doing right now, Alyssa?
I'm good. I can't believe that tomorrow is already my interview on Zoom for Miss Earth USA and my media interview as well. So be sure to tune in on Facebook Live tomorrow at Miss Earth USA to see my live media interview. And I can't believe it's already here.
Exactly. Yeah, we are actually right after this interview. We are scheduled to share to your the posters for tomorrow's Facebook Live on Miss Earth USA. So yes,
Awesome.
dear Earthlings, please follow Miss Earth USA page and also stay tuned and watch for their live interviews tomorrow. Right. So I'm sure that's going to be very, very exciting. And of course, as exciting as that is, we also have a very exciting lineup of things that are going to happen tonight. But before that, let's go to our comment section first because we have supporters and friends already excited to see you. And of course, I think we know who the early bird will be. That's Linnell right now. Linnell Valenciano is saying hi, Emmanuel, and hi to you, Queen
Hi,
Alyssa.
Linnell.
Hi, Linnell.
Good
And
to
let's
see
also
you.
right. And let's also say hi to Roel. OMG, she's up too early. There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
early.
that's why we're so thankful. So, Roel, of course, let's appreciate Alyssa waking up early by being with us right now and by showing some love. And of course, we also have Marcus Danau saying, "Beautiful Miss California." She
Thank
is indeed
you.
very beautiful. Morning, evening, whatever time of the day. This one's in Tagalog, but I'll translate it for you. It's a very simple word, ganda, which means beautiful.
Thank
So you're
you.
definitely ganda. There you go. And we also another one who's saying ganda or beautiful is Alizure Madriaga. So Aliz. There you go.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
Thank
So and of course she's really gorgeous. And
you.
Ali is also with us right now. Ali. Hey
Definitely.
girl. Hey. There you go. Ooh, there you go. So thank you very much for all those early shout outs and early showing of love to Alyssa, our Miss California Earth 2021. All right. So let me switch the screen up for you. There you go. The bigger frame that you deserve. Thank you very much for being
Yeah.
with us. So, Earthlings, please do stay with us because right now we are going to our first segment. Of course, you all know that here on Miss Earth Ground, we would love to know our Miss Earth Queens, our candidates in their many aspects and respects. So we're going to, of course, get to know and ask about Alyssa's advocacy later on with you. So think about your questions already and please key it in later when we give the cue. If you don't want to forget your question, you can already key in right now and we will probably go back to them later on so that we can ask Alyssa those important questions. But of course, we also want to get to know Alyssa on a more personal level so that we can appreciate everything about her. And so we are going to begin with our first segment. All right. So our first segment is called Two Resolutions and a Lie. All right. Two resolutions and a lie. How is this going to happen? So, two resolutions and a lie is a warm up game that Alyssa is going to do. So she is going to tell us three statements, three sentences. These sentences are supposedly all New Year's resolutions for 2021. The thing is, two of them are correct or true to her, and one of them is a lie. So our task is to guess which one is not Alyssa's real New Year's resolution. So I'm sure Alyssa is ready, but now, Earthlings, I'm going to ask, are you ready? So here you go. Alyssa, tell us your two resolutions and a lie. What are
Okay.
those?
So, my first resolution, first and foremost, right out of the gate, is just giving myself grace in 2021. Obviously, 2020 was a difficult year for many, and that doesn't exclude myself. So, just giving myself grace in, having healthy eating and my body positivity and confidence just in general. I went through a lot in 2020, and I'm ready to start fresh in 2021. So, giving myself grace, that's the first one. My second is to get at least 10 hours of sleep every night, which is hard. So that's why I wanted to focus on that this year. My third resolution is to eat tacos on every single Taco Tuesday this whole year.
There you go. Before I ask you, Earthling, so we are now doing two resolutions and a lie. So Alyssa just gave three resolutions. Which one of those is a lie? First one, of course, she said that she wants to give herself grace. Okay. The second one is that she wants to give herself grace. The second one is that she wants to have at least 10 hours of sleep. And the third one is to eat in every taco. What was that? Was that brand again?
Tacos on every Taco Tuesday of the year.
Taco Tuesday. Okay, there you go. Okay, on every Taco Tuesday of the year. All right. So which one do you think is the truth and which one is the lie? Okay, so we already have someone who's guessing. So Roel says taco is the lie. Okay, so eating taco every Taco Tuesday is the lie. And Ali is saying that the 10 hours of sleep is a lie. So which one of them is actually correct? Me too. I don't know. Mm, I'm also gonna have to guess number. I'm gonna have to go with with Ali there, maybe the 10 hours of sleep is a lie. So two for the third one. Okay, so Alyssa, it's time for you to reveal which one which one is the lie and which two resolutions are actually correct.
So the taco resolution is actually correct. That is one of my New Year's resolutions this year. And specifically, I want to try tacos from all different kinds of restaurants. I want to go to especially family owned restaurants and really try how they make authentic street tacos. Tacos are my favorite food. The second truth is giving myself grace this year. And I think that is really the focus and at the forefront of all my resolutions. But that does mean that getting 10 hours of sleep is the lie because, fun fact, I am actually an insomniac. So it is hard for me to sleep and especially sleep through a whole night without waking up.
I see. There you go. So someone screaming, I was wrong. Roel was wrong. Yeah, Linnell guessed that right, of course. 10 hours of sleep is the lie. And some people are saying OMG. So they were definitely wrong. All right. Thank you very much. So there you go. So now we know that Alyssa actually has insomnia and she has difficulty sleeping. So definitely the 10 hours of sleep is not the correct New Year's resolution for her. But that's an actually amazing fact and an amazing facet of you, that intention, that resolution to actually eat tacos every Taco Tuesday just shows how adventurous you are as a person. And that's such a fun side of you. So thank you very much for revealing
Yeah,
that
of
to
course.
Lena actually says 10 hours of sleep is not good to your health. Well, if
Well, I wouldn't know.
that's true. That is true. Thank you very much. And that was our two resolutions and a lie. What a warm up. Thank you very much for participating in that one. There you go. And now let's go to our next segment. Okay, let's go to our next segment. Well, I've already been flashing comments from our Earthlings. So there you go. And another one is from Ralph Sambat. Ralph, our good friend, who lives in Orlando, where you're going to have your pageant next in the coming weeks. Good morning,
Mhm.
Alyssa and Emmanuel. Sorry, I'm late to the stream. It's okay. It's morning there. I know you had a walk. I think Ralph walks every morning. So thank you very much. I hope you had a good walk and welcome to our stream, Ralph. Thank you very much, of course, for being here with us. All right. So now let us move on to our next segment. Let me just flash that one. So our next segment is called The Many Facets of Alyssa. Maybe a lot of people are not aware that Alyssa is such a multifaceted person. Of course, it's very easy to look at our pageant queens with an image that is all associated with pageantry, but it's also so amazing, and especially on Miss Earth, to discover and to get to know a lot of women who are so multifaceted. And one of them, of course, is Alyssa. So we'll walk you through the many facets of Alyssa. And Alyssa, please tell us more about these facets. The first one is this one, of course. Alyssa, you were a Disney princess. Princesses, actually. Look at the
Mhm.
yeah. We have a lot of photos to prove that. Okay, so here are some of your photos. Okay, revealing that you had a career as um, a Disney performer. Okay, can you tell us more about it?
Working for Disney was always a dream for me ever since I was young. I would go to Disney World and Disneyland, and all I would do on my vacations was meet princesses. So it was just written in the stars for me to be a performer. I was actually given an opportunity, my first audition ever with the company, which is really unheard of. And I've just had the most incredible time, the most incredible memories have been made there. And hopefully, sometime sooner rather than later, we get to see the comeback of Disneyland and welcome our gates again to bring in guests from all over the world and create that magic that we're so good at.
Yes, I'm sure. Being in Disneyland is always, always a magical experience. So I've
Mhm.
never been to the Disneyland in your area, but of course I've been to Disneylands in Asia, and I think
I
anywhere
want
around
to
the world.
go to Disney and Shanghai Disney and Hong Kong Disney so badly. It's one of my goals to visit every single Disney park around the world.
Oh, you will be amazed. Yeah, I think anywhere around the world, all the Disneyland parks are such an amazing experience and a place to
Mhm.
be. And
Mhm.
you mentioned about opening again. So what tell us about the situation of the Disneyland resorts there in America. What happened during the COVID-19 in terms of your
Mhm.
work and other people's work in Disney?
Yeah, so about, gosh, it would be 10 months ago now in March 14th, 2020. That is when our gates closed for
Oh,
really the first time in history. The only other time in history that Disneyland has closed was during 9/11, right after the
mhm,
9/11 terrorist
mhm,
attack. And it was
mhm,
only closed for a day, I believe, a day of mourning.
mhm.
So this is unprecedented. It's been closed for now well over 8 months, and
Wow.
the cast members, the vast majority of them were put on furlough, which I am a part of that group. So I've been
I see.
furloughed since March and haven't had the opportunity to go and work and do what I love, along with so many other cast members. So we are currently closed. Disney World in Florida was given the green light to open over the summer.
Mhm.
Disneyland did try to follow suit. However, with the government in California, it was kept on a strict lockdown in order to help get control of this virus and especially take control of it in California, which is an epicenter for COVID-19 right now.
I know.
So obviously, very devastating for me and the company and all of my fellow cast members. So we are hoping someday that sooner rather than later we can open up again and continue to do what we love.
That is actually such a unfortunate event, but definitely, because Disney is Disneyland especially is a symbol of hope and happiness, and
Mhm.
so with that hope, we also look forward to the reopening of a lot of Disney branches around the world. In Japan, Disneyland and Disney Sea has already opened. So,
Mhm.
um, of course, with some restrictions. So we're
Of
happy
course.
that some of the Disney performers already get that chance to go back to work.
Mhm.
So thank you
Yep.
very much for that. Thank
Mhm.
you. And that is one facet of Alyssa, ladies and gentlemen, that she worked as a performer for Disney. Speaking of performer, because it's so interesting because I also have a performance background, and
Mhm.
I want to ask, how does your performance background help you in your pageant journey? Because I know that pageantry is
Mhm.
also a lot. It's also about performing,
Of
and so
course.
how does your performance background help you in your pageant journey?
It helps me in many different ways, and I started performing. I was a theater girl before I could even compete in a pageant, before I ever competed in a pageant. So I've always been on stage. I've always loved being in front of people and making people happy, which is why I fit in so nicely at Disneyland. It's just making that happiness every day. But in in specifics, I'm very comfortable on stage. I do not get stage fright. I've never gotten stage fright, and I'm very comfortable talking in front of people. I mean, you can throw anything my way, and chances are I'm going to be able to talk about it because at Disney, as when you go to meet someone, a performer, a cast member, and you bring up any given topic under the sun, they're gonna have to talk to you about it. So I've definitely been preparing for this moment for at least the last 5 years I've spent at Disney, but well beyond then as well.
That's amazing to know, right? So I think that is not just your advantage; it's also your gift. To be able to
Mhm.
perform and talk with people and reach out to people. Through
My very first role in theater was actually I was cast as the Sunflower in Alice in the Wonderland Junior show, and it wasn't even an actual role, they had to write it in, and they wrote in one line, so my first show ever, I was probably, gosh, like 10, and they
10.
wrote in my line, they wrote in a role for me, and I had to wear a tutu around my face, it was very low budget.
Oh, as a tutu around your face to be a
Yep,
flower.
to be
That's
a
very,
sunflower,
that is
very
so interesting.
creative.
Of course, we all have to start somewhere and look at where
Of
that led you. Look at that where that led you. Thank you very much for sharing us that very interesting facet of you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how we know that Alyssa is such a well-rounded person because her maybe right side of the brain is already occupied with her performance abilities. But aside from being a performer, Alyssa is also an academic. Yeah, because Alyssa actually has politic a political sciences background. Tell us more
Mhm.
about this, Alyssa.
Course, I graduated in May of 2019 with my bachelor's degree in political science. I actually graduated a year early, which was incredibly difficult. I worked really hard, and if many of you have been following me, you know in 2019 I also competed at Miss USA.
Mhm, mhm.
So actually, while I was at Miss USA, I was finishing finals and projects that I needed to turn into school. So I was actually in constant communication with my professors who so kindly granted me the grace to be able to miss class and compete for Miss USA, which I obviously very much appreciated that. So, the condition was that I got my work in on time, and that's exactly what I did. So I remember I wrote a final paper on Chinese cinema while I was at Miss USA, probably right
Wow.
before my interview or something crazy like that. But the grind really never stopped. I worked really hard to earn my degree, and I'm hoping to get my master's degree in something related to environmental policy or environmental science in the future. With Disney, one of the really cool aspects of working for the company is that they offer Disney Aspire, which they essentially pay for your education. And that didn't come into play until about 2 years ago when I was
Mhm,
done with
mhm.
my education, my bachelor's. So I didn't have the opportunity to take advantage of it for my bachelor's, but I can take advantage for my master's. So just kind of patiently waiting to see what happens with Disney when we open, when I can return to work and hopefully start my application process again.
Wow, that is amazing. It's amazing to know how, you have that opportunity. So
Mhm.
hopefully you'll be able to take it once everything goes back to normal. A lot of people may think that, wait, a political sciences background, so how does that relate to your
Mhm.
advocacy as a pageant, uh, a queen, and of course right
Mhm.
now as,
Mhm.
a Miss Earth USA contender? But
Mhm.
I think, and tell me if I'm correct, that actually it relates a lot to what you are doing right now.
Yeah,
How does it?
it absolutely relates. Political science is a giant umbrella. There are so many facets that fall under kind of the realm of poli sci, and that's because political leaders are making our laws. Every single country has a government. We have some sort of governing body, whether it's a democracy or a monarchy or not. And when I got my degree, that was what I was most interested in learning about. I wanted to learn how our government worked, and I wanted to know where I fit in all of that. And as well on an international scale, my favorite class I took in college was actually international relations and a Russian political science class. So I was able to learn a lot about other countries. And I think that's really important, not only, in the position that I'm in, hopeful to be the next Miss Earth and represent all of the people across the world, but as a Miss Earth USA as well, to truly understand why
Mhm.
I am doing what I'm doing, who I'm representing, and it does have a direct correlation to environmentalism because we need more environmental policy on the global scale.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much for that. And speaking of, your the scale of what you want to do, aside from actually from your political science background, you also have a geosciences background.
Mhm.
Wow,
Yep.
how multifaceted. Can you tell us more
Mhm.
about it? I think this goes back earlier before
Yeah.
your university life, right?
This does. It goes back pretty early. I was accepted into an advanced program actually in high school. So in high school, I had 4 years, much like you would have the opportunity in
Mhm.
college to focus on your major. I essentially did that in high school as well, where I focused in geosciences. So I have a large background in oceanography, paleontology, geology, and I I wouldn't trade it for the absolute world. The experiences that I gained in that program, the knowledge that I gained, is truly unlike anything I've ever experienced. We actually had a 5,000-gallon saltwater aquaria fish tank in my high school. We had
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, at least 6 different tanks, as well as a
Wow.
touch tank, which is where I actually got my inspiration for my Girl Scout Gold Award. And I created the Sea Bus, which was a mobile marine education system for students in the Midwest, many of which had never ever seen or heard, the waves crash on the shore,
Mhm.
the salt in the air in the ocean or never touched a marine animal. So I was able to kind of bridge that gap for kids in the US, especially in the Midwest. And I was able to bring a piece of the ocean to schools and Boy and Girl Scout troops all over my area and teach them about marine biology and ocean conservation. So my love for the ocean runs very deep. It runs way, way back into my life, and was very grateful for the opportunities that I had in high school and, of course, in college as well.
That's amazing. That's amazing to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear Earthlings, you see how multifaceted Alyssa is. So, aside from being a performer, of course, she graduated with a degree in political science, and she also has it even before her university days. She already had a geosciences background. Well, I think being a part of the Miss Earth system is written in the stars for you because you have been advocating for the earth and for nature for such a long time.
Mhm.
Not only directly, but also through policies and, your goal of
Mm,
creating environmental policies. So
yeah,
thank you very much for sharing those things to
of
us.
course.
Wow.
Mhm,
Now, aside from those, of course, you actually just mentioned it a while ago that
mhm.
you are also, oh, sorry, that you are also forever a Girl Scout. Yes,
Well,
you are, and you also use this platform to advocate for many things such as voting and
mhm.
representation. Can you tell us about your Girl Scout background and how you are now a forever Girl Scout?
Mhm. I have absolutely loved my time as a Girl Scout, and I would encourage any young girl in any country to join Scouts because it has so many benefits that will last you for a lifetime. I'm currently a lifetime member of Girl Scouts, which means I'm still a part of the council. I'm still able to mentor girls, especially on their way to the gold, much like I was, what, 4 or 5 years ago. Crazy, it was already so long ago. But I'm able to be in that position of mentorship now. And my council, specifically back home in Kansas, we have planned trips, and unfortunately, due to the pandemic in 2020, we had to cancel all of those trips. The most bummed I was for a cancellation was the 2020 presidential inauguration. We were supposed to take a group
Mm,
of girls then, and one of my life goals is to see inauguration in person here in the US. So that was definitely a bummer. But of course, we have to make sure everyone is staying safe and healthy, especially now while we're in the winter months and it's cold and everyone wants to be inside and gathered together. But Girl Scouts really gave me the skill set that I needed to not only be a great student and excel in my academics, and a well-informed citizen and voter, but also a great title holder as well. So I attribute a lot of my foundation to being a Girl Scout.
that's amazing. Also, um, thank you very much for giving us that background. Also, speaking of voting, I know that you helped in achieving a record-breaking voting turnout during
Mhm,
the 2020 U.S. presidential election.
mhm,
To what extent did you volunteer um,
mhm.
to achieve that goal?
Well, I've been volunteering trying to get people registered for over 3 years now.
Mhm.
It's taken life outside of just being a title holder. It wasn't about the crown. It wasn't about just being a title holder and using that as my advocacy. It was truly what I believed in as an American citizen, especially as a woman
Mhm.
who in 2020 we celebrated the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage here in this country and women gaining the right to vote. So for me, it was um, a very personal mission that I had to get women registered, to get first time voters registered. And first time voters, from my experience, it ranged anywhere from the age of 18 all the way up into their 60s or 70s, people who had never voted in an election because they truly believed that their vote didn't matter. So,
Mhm.
a lot of my time over the last several years leading up to both the midterm election for Congress and the presidential election was educating people and making sure they know how their vote matters and where and how it impacts. Lots of these races, especially at the local and the state level, in certain districts and counties are called by less than 100 votes, which means, yeah, your vote does have a lot of weight. So it was a huge passion of mine, still is, will always be, and I will always be striving to get more people registered and educated on the subject.
Thank you very much for that. See, so I would just like to sum that up because it's such an amazing thing that you're doing. These are
Mhm,
all amazing things, and it just goes to show how much with willpower and willingness and love, you can always do a lot of things.
mhm,
Yeah, so thank you very much for doing all of these things. But aside from that,
mhm,
of course, aside from being all of these, a political science major, a geoscience with a person with geosciences background and experience as well, and of course, a forever Girl Scout and an advocate for voting and representation, you are, of course, using also another facet of you very well, and you are also into modeling. So, tell us about
mhm.
this background of yours, Alyssa.
Of course. So I started modeling about the same time that I started in pageantry when I was around 12 or 13 years old. And I'm signed in an agency both in Kansas City, Arizona. I've been signed in LA. But ultimately, while I was in college, one thing had to give. And
Mhm,
I worked at Disney full time. I was
mhm,
actually working three jobs while I was in college, working at a theater as well and in a
mhm,
scene shop. So I was creating sets and working the shows, and I was modeling. I was signed in LA, and I wasn't able to do it all. That was the first kind of really reality check that I
mhm,
had, especially in school, that I didn't have enough time in the day to do everything that I loved. So I decided that I was going to put modeling on the back burner while I finished my degree.
mhm,
In the past year, it was a goal of mine to actually go model in Asia. My agency and I were talking about
ooh,
Asia, which I was very, very excited for. And then COVID hit. So it's obviously the trajectory of my journey in modeling has changed, but it's always been a passion of mine. It always will be and comes kind of hand in hand with being a title holder, which I
that is
find really fun. Um, but, one topic I would love to touch on in the modeling industry is how it is slowly but surely changing and being
mhm,
more inclusive to different body types.
that is
And
true.
it's something that I think is so important and important to shed light on because as of course, you as a person grow older. I'm not 13 years old anymore. I don't have a 13-year-old's body, which is a good
Mhm,
thing because I'm
mhm,
10 years older than I was when I started. So I think it's important for models, especially who've been doing it for quite a long time, to give themselves that grace and
right,
understand that as you grow older, your body changes.
right.
And that's okay. And there is still a place for you in the modeling industry, in the entertainment industry. And I will continue to model for as long as I can.
That's amazing. And you touched on the topic of, being able to model and having
Mhm,
space for a lot of people in the modeling industry. How
mhm,
about in pageantry? If the modeling industry is already changing and
mhm,
allowing different body types to participate
mhm,
in the modeling industry, is
mhm.
it the same right now in pageantry, or we still have a long way to go to accept different body types in pageantry? And what is your stand on that?
Uh-huh. I definitely feel like the tides are changing, and
Mhm,
the wind is definitely changing in the pageantry world as well as the entertainment industry. And I'm excited that I get to be here to see it all happen. Uh, if you've been following me, if you've seen any of my other lives, you
mhm.
probably know that Emma, Miss Wisconsin USA,
Yes.
is one of my best
Right,
friends,
right.
and I have met her through the Miss Earth USA pageant. We talk every single day. My day isn't complete without FaceTiming Emma. But a lot of what we talked about is that shift in pageantry and how so badly she wants and so badly I want to see her
Mhm.
really spearhead this movement. You look at Miss South Africa for Miss Universe right now. You've
Right,
got a
right.
curvy woman, and I
Yeah.
love to see that. I love to see that body diversity because, as I said in my interview last night, it is not about the body; it's about the girl, and we really need to be focusing on what the girl brings to the table. Because how many times do you actually really see her in a swimsuit during her
Mhm.
reign, especially as a Miss Earth?
Right,
Not as
right.
much. Mhm.
That is true. That is true. That is a very, very good point. And of
Mhm.
course, we love Emma as well, and we were able to
Mhm.
have the honor of interviewing her
Yep.
last
She
year, a
told me
few
she
weeks.
had so much fun. I talked to her last night, and I was, like, telling her about my interview today, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna have so much fun."
Ah, that's so nice to know. That's so nice to hear. Thank you very much, Emma. And of course, we adore her. We
Mhm.
love her, and of course, everything that she stands for. And of course,
Mhm.
we all of you actually, all of the Miss Earth USA queens we've interviewed so far are such amazing women. and I don't know how the judges are going to pick which among you should be the
It is
next.
going to be some stiff competition, and let me tell you, this pageant has it's been a long time coming, and I know we're all really excited to get on the stage and finally have the opportunity to compete. And I think the Miss Earth USA organization, as well as our partners in Orlando, for making sure
Mhm,
that we
mhm,
are able to have a safe environment where we're getting tested regularly, and we know
right.
that the people we're around are safer as well. We can get a little taste of pageantry this year.
A little taste. It's actually good to know that. But also another interesting thing that I found
Mhm.
out is that a lot of people think that everything in Miss Earth USA 2021 will be on stage, will be live. Apparently,
Mhm.
some of it, especially interviews, will be done online. Can you tell
Yep.
us about that?
So interviews actually start today, which is so
Right.
crazy, and I'm wishing all of girls the best of luck in their personal interviews and media interviews. My interview is tomorrow, both media and my private interview with the judges. It's actually being conducted on Zoom, which
Hmm.
is totally a 180 from what I'm used to the last 10 years of competing.
I'm sure.
But that is honestly the reason I joined pageants at the core of everything, of all the glitz and the glam and all of that good stuff. It's to challenge myself. It's to evolve and grow with every single competition. And I
That's
feel like over the last 10 years, I've proven just that. I've been better every single time I've stepped foot on that stage. So I don't think that this pageant is going to be an exception,
true.
just because it's been a major curveball and we've had to fundamentally shift how we
Hmm.
prepare and how we interview. But I am very glad that we get to actually be on stage together. We'll see kind of more in person in the next 2 weeks when we get there how it's going to
Right.
look and transpire. But I do know that we have the incredible opportunity to be in person and actually have a pageant.
Right. That is why Miss Earth USA 2021 is very special because aside
Mhm.
from the virtual aspect of it, everybody's excited to know how it's going to be on stage as well. So you're actually essentially pioneering a new system in the new normal for pageantry. So we
Mhm.
are very, very excited to know that. And of course, good luck to you and to all the rest of the ladies for your interviews starting today. There you go. So thank you very much. And that, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very nice discussion about the many facets of Alyssa. Thank you very much for showing us the different sides of you. So it's very important because it's very important that you said that you are approachable and reachable as a
Mhm.
queen, and this we know now. So thank you
Mhm.
very much. Now, before we go to our next segment, let's look at the comments of people. Our comment section is popping right now, and there's so many, of course, comments. And one of them, I'm sure you know, of course, Stacy Simpson is
Yes.
with us right now, saying hello, Alyssa. You just had an interview with them in a VIP pageantry recently.
I did, and we talked. I remember one of the questions she asked me was what my first step would be as Miss Earth USA if I were to win the title. And she's down in Miami. She's not sure if she's going to be able to attend the
Right,
pageant in person
right.
because she's immune compromised. However, if I were able to take home the crown, the first thing I would do would go right down to Miami and meet up with Stacy and go to the dolphin
Mm.
and the manatee rescue and sanctuary. So spending my first days as Miss Earth with my favorite animals and one of my favorite people, that would be awesome.
Oh, that is true. Yes. So, dolphins are your favorite animals, right? Oh,
Mhm.
that's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stacy, for dropping by, and thank you for greeting everyone. Happy New Year to everyone. Also, do follow VIP Pageantry, of course, and they're doing such a great job covering pageantry. And right now, they're doing such a great job for Miss Earth. In fact, I think some of your chats, official chats for Miss Earth USA, are going to be aired on VIP Pageantry. So do
Yes.
watch out for
Yes,
that.
those media chats, definitely tune into those,
Right.
support all the girls, not only me, but all the girls. We've worked so hard.
Right, and it's exciting because it's not going to be one-on-one, it's going to be a group,
Mhm.
interview, so
Yeah.
we are looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Alright, now, um, there's another, Ali is, saying something again, "Girl, how is your skin so flawless, like, you literally have no pores?"
Girl, good skincare, and I can thank my mom for that, getting me started young, and I will tell you, I never, ever sleep in my makeup.
There you go. Yes, yeah, that's right. I always hear that never sleep with your makeup on. There you go. There you go. And that's some of our comments. There you go. Okay, right. So we have Lindell actually has a very nice question, but we're going
Mhm.
to ask that later. So
Okay.
during the Earthlings Ask segment. Right
Okay.
now, we are going to go to our next segment, and that is, of course, Alyssa's pageant journey. This is very interesting and we'd love to hear about this from you. We all know, of course, and you already said this yourself, that part of your pageant journey was Miss USA, looking gorgeous in all your different segments right here. So tell us, how was the experience? How was the experience of joining
Mhm.
Miss USA, and how did that, in a way, prepare you also for the next chapter, which is now
Mhm.
Miss Earth USA?
Oh, joining Miss USA was one of the best decisions I could have ever made for myself, and that starts, way back as a Miss Teen USA contestant in 2013. I had an absolute blast competing. I felt the very best that I've ever felt on stage, just so comfortable and so at peace with whatever was written in the stars for me. And obviously, it wasn't written in the stars for me to be Miss USA, but I was honored to make the top 10 and know that the judges saw something in me and
Mhm,
I had what it took to be Miss USA, which gave me a sense of accomplishment. And my goal was to make it past the swimsuit round because swimsuit has always been the most challenging aspect of the competition for me personally, with
mhm,
just struggling with the positive body image over the years. So my goal was to make it past swimsuit and compete in evening gown, and I accomplished just that. But it has really prepared me to take on the challenge of competing for Miss Earth USA and hopefully at Miss Earth, because I've been through it before. I know what the pressure is. I know this what the stakes are, and Miss Earth. Like Miss USA and Miss Universe, in many ways, is a marathon. It's not a
mhm.
race. So,
Right.
not a race to the finish line. It's about your endurance and your ability to keep showing up and to keep being your best and to elevating yourself with each phase of competition, with each event, with each volunteer opportunity. So, Miss USA has obviously played a huge role in my pageant journey, and I'm very grateful for my experience and very excited to see where I go since stepping off the Miss USA stage.
Right, and we are also very excited
Mhm,
to follow your journey on the Miss Earth stage. And speaking of Miss Earth, now let us go to your Miss Earth USA journey. Okay, so
mhm.
now, actually, your Miss Earth USA journey started not on the Miss Earth, the
Right.
major Miss Earth pageant, but you started as
Mhm.
Teen Miss Earth USA 2015. And look at this. Look at these photos. Can you tell us a little bit about the photos that we have here on screen?
Of course. So the one on the left is me in front of the White House, which
Mhm.
I had the opportunity to visit on Earth Day. Um, and that was one of the best days. I remember actually, was that at the pageant? I think I might have went to the White House twice. Anyway,
Oh,
um,
nice.
but obviously, political science girl, very, very obsessed with history. So being in DC in our nation's capital, that was incredibly fun. The middle picture with Miss Earth 2015.
Yeah,
She is my
Angelia.
favorite Earth, Angelia Ong. She is beautiful and kind and humble and everything that a Miss Earth should be. And meeting her, I think, really sealed the deal that I wanted to come back and follow in her footsteps someday and carry on her legacy.
Mhm.
Um, and the one on the right that's actually me, Brittany Payne, and Laura Clark is also in there. That's us planting trees at the National Congressional Cemetery in Arlington. On Earth Day, and it poured rain that day. None of us had jackets. I mean, you can see like Brittany's got a jacket on, but the majority of us didn't actually have jackets or rain gear, so we were just totally soaked and
Oh my,
but just having the best time together. It's when you're in it together, you're in it till the end. So
that's true.
we planted two huge trees together. So that's definitely a fond memory that I have from my reign as a teen.
Amazing. Wow. So actually, because this was in 2015. You are
Mhm.
essentially coming back to the
Yep.
Miss Earth system. So, what made you decide on coming back to the Miss Earth system after a wonderful journey at Miss USA?
I First and foremost, I am a champion for this environment, and I believe deeply in the Miss Earth mission and
Mhm.
spreading awareness of the 5 R's: rethink, reduce, reuse, recycle, and respect. So, at the core of it, I feel like Miss Earth really just aligns with my life story and where I want to go in life. But um, take into account my miss when I was teen was Brittany Ann Payne, who I look up to immensely, and not only as a title holder but as a big sister, and wanting to follow in her footsteps as a Miss Earth USA. She went on to become Miss Earth Water, and then of
Right.
course Angelia Ong, who was Miss Earth 2015. I had the opportunity to meet Miss Earth Fire that year, so it really my teen year, I had such an incredible time, and it just sealed the deal for me. I knew I wanted to come back the moment I crowned my successor. I knew I was gonna come back as a Miss, and that's how I felt at Miss USA as well, and those are the 2 organizations I devoted my time to as a teen, and it's come full circle, so I'm here hoping to be the next Miss Earth USA and hoping to go to Miss Earth and carry on the legacy of the United States, and I'm just so excited. I'm very proud that I have the opportunity to come back,
Mhm.
and I could be the very first teen Miss Earth USA to win the Miss Earth USA crown. So that would be pretty
Wow. That would be definitely cool. History in the making, another history to be made is waiting for you.
cool.
That is actually amazing. So thank you very much for
Mhm,
sharing that journey to us. Actually, I heard you say it somewhere that that it's not really, you don't need the crown. The crown needs you. And that
mhm,
is a testament to how a certain crown is actually waiting for the perfect person for it. And I know that you have been formed
mhm,
to be able to fit not the crown, the Miss Earth crown on your head, not only literally, but also in whatever you
mhm.
do. So good luck on that journey.
Thank
And
you.
speaking of, yes, thank you very much. Very well deserved. And speaking of your Miss Earth USA journey, of course, not everything is smooth sailing because last year was a challenging time for many
Mhm,
people, of course, and Miss Earth USA went virtual. And by March, I think May, around the first half of 2020, you were
mhm,
declared as one of the official candidates of Miss Earth USA 2020.
mhm,
And um, can you tell us a little bit about why you stepped back from the
mhm.
journey to
Of
be
course.
able to prepare for the bigger 2021 journey?
Yes, so I was crowned Miss California Earth in a virtual competition as well back in April, I believe.
Mhm,
And the 2020 pageant was projected to be in August, in person in Las Vegas, and all of us were preparing for that pageant. About a week before we competed, we got word that we were now no longer able to hold our competition and our event, which means it was going virtual. So
mhm,
this was the last week of July, I believe.
mhm,
And I contemplated it. I wanted to compete, but there was something in my gut that was holding me back from
mhm,
competing, and I couldn't explain it to anyone. I just said, that's how I feel. I feel like it's going to be better if I wait. And it ended up being very, very true because shortly after the pageant was moved virtually, I went through one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, losing my dog, Sadie,
mhm. Sadie,
who
yeah.
she fell suddenly ill, and I did absolutely everything in my power to get her the right care, to get her to an emergency vet in Orange County, California. And they told me that she was fine. And I knew in my gut, that gut feeling again, that it was not fine. So I got in the car at 3 o'clock in the morning. I started driving to Arizona, where my mom lives, to get her the best possible care.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
she did not make the drive to Arizona. She passed in my car while I was driving to get her to a different veterinarian and get help that I desperately needed because I was all alone. I've never felt more alone in my life. I've never experienced such grief and extreme loss and the feeling of not doing enough, not doing enough to save her life.
Mhm.
And that is something that I have had to just tackle for the last 5 months since she
Mhm.
passed.
Mhm.
And that was the moment that I knew my gut was telling me the right thing. My gut and the universe and God and whatever you believe in was really preparing me for the extreme event that I was going to go through. And I would not have been 100% ready to compete. I wouldn't have been in the right headspace to interview because I had just gone through something so traumatizing that I really needed these last 5 months to learn how to heal and
Mhm.
accept and move on from. And that's why I believe that, I decided to not compete, and it ended up being for the best, and I've been able to heal and become the best version of myself and
Mhm.
get ready to step on this stage. So 2020 left, um, a dent in everyone's lives,
Right.
and myself included. And a lot of us faced extreme grief and
Mhm.
sorrow. And I speak a lot about it on my social media. I was very open about what happened
Mhm.
and how I've dealt with that grief since.
Thank you very much for
Mhm.
sharing that part of your 2020 with us. We totally understand. Some people don't realize how much our dogs become such a
Mhm.
big part of our lives that it's so hard to lose them. And that can be a very traumatizing part of our lives. So thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that. But we also admire you for overcoming it and coming out stronger than
Mhm.
ever and more prepared. And actually, we heard that part of the process of recovering from it was you fostering another dog. So
Yeah.
we actually we have photos here of the two of them. Um, it's right here with us. Wait, sorry, here. So we have the one on
Yeah,
the
so the
left side of the
one
screen is
on
Sadie, and then the other one is the
Mhm.
dog you fostered. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah. Oh, that's one of my favorite pictures of me and Sadie. She was a big cuddle bug. I loved her so much.
Mhm.
So Sadie, yes, that was my dog. I had her about 11 years, a Great Pyrenees. I've always been a huge fan of big dogs. I think the bigger the better.
Right.
So she was a big girl, and I just loved every ounce of her. And the one on the right, that is Princess Leia, who I named. I volunteer with a local rescue, and I go into the shelter quite frequently to help. The massive intake of dogs that
Mhm.
they rescue and puppies. And I
Mhm.
went in there on my very first day volunteering, and I saw her and I saw how much she needed my help. And so I could not leave without her. So I came home with the dog my very first day. And I named her Leia, and I had her for about 4 weeks. And I worked day in and day out to get her potty trained and make sure that she was ready for her forever home. She came from an abusive situation, so she was very afraid
Oh.
of people. And that was something I had to work every single day to correct and to make sure that she was. Able to succeed and excel in a forever family, which she was adopted. I saw all the way to the end, and she's now in her forever home.
That is amazing. Thank you very much. So it also shows your genuine love
Mhm.
for dogs and for animals in general. So thank
Mhm.
you very much for doing that. You just helped a dog achieve her forever family. So
Mhm.
thank you so much. And of course, um as part of your Miss Earth, now you are back in the Miss Earth USA pageant stronger than ever. And of course,
Mhm.
now let us talk about that. Okay, so now let's talk about Miss Earth 2021, your journey to Miss Earth 2021, the crown and the cause. And of course, we know that your advocacy is on water and ocean conservation. Your main advocacy is on
Mhm.
water and ocean conservation. So can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Mhm. So one of the things I do love about Miss Earth is that it's all encompassing.
Mhm,
The Evoxy and the platform really elevates to advocating for a clean and healthy environment overall. Of
mhm,
course, as you can see, I have a huge passion for our oceans, always have, always will. And that's something that I don't take lightly. I want my grandchildren and my grandchildren's grandchildren to be able to enjoy the same beautiful ocean and the same beautiful environment that I do today. So there's lots of work to be done, lots of plastic pollution. The US really needs to spearhead environmental policy that is going to help clean
right,
and reverse a portion of the damage that's already been done to our oceans specifically. I was able to talk about last night about ocean acidification, the decrease in the pH balance of our oceans, and I've
right,
actually done research projects where I've taken those readings for several weeks and kind of studied how the balance of our pH in our oceans is. And a huge impact on our ocean pH level is the burning of fossil fuels. So,
right.
we need to move to clean, renewable energy sources,
Mhm,
which, it's not about the money or the technology. We have
mhm,
both. We have
mhm.
both means to accomplish a more sustainable future. The issue at hand is the reciprocity between countries, and
Right.
we really need to make sure that we have administrations coming, obviously here in the US, but globally as well, new administrations and new agendas every
Mhm,
several years, and that just can't happen. Our Mother Earth can't handle it. She can't take it, and
mhm.
she really needs an overall policy, something like the UN could help spearhead, something that the Paris Climate Accord could help spearhead. So I have high hopes that in the coming administration, especially here in the US, we will be able to see kind of a springboard and get to where we need to be, where we should have been in 2020,
Right,
and
right.
where we kind of fell short of. So, ocean and water conservation, a huge part of who I am, a huge part of being a Miss Earth, but also just advocating for our planet and being a healthy environment just in general.
There you go. Thank you very much for that. And speaking of policies and of course our
Mhm.
leaders being leaders also for the environment, I heard that one of the things that are bound to happen in the first 100 days of the new administration is signing the USA back to
Mhm.
the Paris Agreement. How do you
Mhm.
feel about that?
I think it's a great first step. I think it's redoing damage that really didn't need to be done.
Right.
And I'm excited for the first 100 days of the new administration and to see what else in terms of environmental policy they are able to bring to the floor and bring to the table. So I'm very optimistic and I'm very hopeful that 2021 can really be the year that 2020 was supposed to be.
That is true. I am literally like having goosebumps hearing how passionate you are
Mhm.
for environmental policies, and it is just right that we all demand our leaders to take care of the environment also. And it's very
Mhm.
nice that you said that it's not just going. It doesn't have to be just
Yeah.
one country.
I
It
mean,
has to
what
be a
is crazy
reciprocity.
to me is that we still have big climate deniers in places of leadership, specifically in political roles on a
Mm.
global scale. So I think that's our biggest threat to our environment are the people who are in leadership who want to denounce climate change as real.
I totally agree. I totally
Mhm,
agree. Now, of course, it's we have the right. It's our right to demand that kind of
mhm,
leadership from our leaders. But
mhm,
while our leaders are working on reciprocity all over the world in order to protect the environment, how do you, in the meantime, and while that is happening, how do you explain, for example, to children, to the
mhm,
young ones, how important it is to take care of our environment, specifically with your advocacy of ocean conservation? Um,
mhm,
how do you explain how the pH level of the ocean contributes to a lot of degradation and damage
mhm,
to our younger children?
mhm. So, children deserve more credit than they're often given. Kids are
Right.
really smart and they're very receptive. They listen and they can learn so easily. One of the many lessons that I learned while working with children over the years was how excited they are to learn about the environment. Kids aren't given enough credit. And when I was giving presentations with my Girl Scout Gold Award, the Sea Bus, I would talk obviously about ocean conservation and water
Mhm.
conservation. And to make it tangible for kids in the Midwest who have never been to the ocean or can't see that with their own eyes, I was able to break it down with water waste. So I was
Mhm.
able to say, you know what? If you brush your teeth for 90 seconds and you leave the water running, it's going to waste X amount of gallons. And I would
Mhm.
pull out a milk jug and show them how many gallons of water that is just while they're brushing their teeth. Now you do that twice a day. We're going to double it. Now, how many people are in your family? You've got a mom and a sister. Well, guess what? Now we're going to multiply that by 3. And that's just one family. So now
That is
look at all your neighbors. Look at all the kids sitting next to you and think of how many people are in their family. If everyone leaves the faucet on while they're brushing the teeth, how much water is that wasting? So that's just one way that you can kind of break it down and give them that visual and make it relatable to their life.
Mhm.
And then they think
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, you're so right. And I'm gonna turn the water off while I'm brushing my teeth. I'm gonna take a shorter shower. And I actually had kids. I would have them hold up their hand. I had a pledge, and they would pledge to turn the faucet off while they were brushing their teeth. And over all of the presentations I did, I was able to save with those kids making that pledge over 1 million gallons of water.
Wow.
And that's just a small ripple, and that ripple
Mhm.
can make a wave. So I think giving kids the opportunity to really learn about our environment from people who are passionate about it is going to be the key in igniting that fire in their souls to carry it on as well, because no one wants to live in an unhealthy or dirty environment, which
That is
really
true.
speaks to our mother earth.
Right. That is true. That is true. And you said that, it's just all it takes is just igniting that fire, that key, and
Mhm.
you are a very important key. So thank you very much for
Mhm.
doing what you do. As a teacher, I agree with you that, we have to give more credit to our kids. Sometimes they're
Mhm.
even smarter than we think they
Mhm.
are at their age. So thank you very much for understanding that. But it also was about the way you delivered the information to them. You
Mhm.
delivered it the best way possible. So
Mhm.
congratulations on that. And let's move further to your advocacy. I have here another set of photos. There you go. Can you tell us about what is happening in these photos?
Yes. Oh, such great memories. The one on the left, that's actually at my high school. I was able to speak about my geosciences program earlier. That is actually one of the tanks that we had. You can see it's a touch
Mm.
tank. So that was actually one of the presentations I was able to give for that one specifically. The kids were able to travel to me, and I would teach them about ocean conservation and tour all the tanks and teach them about the fish and the marine organisms. So you can kind of see me. There's some pencil urchins in there. There's also a sea cucumber in
Mhm.
there somewhere, but several sea stars, which I'm also holding on the right. I've always loved sea stars. I think they're like incredible creatures. So that was one of the marine organisms I was able to take with me on those presentations. But really, just so that picture on the right is old. I was probably 13 in that picture, 13, 14, before I was even Teen Miss Earth USA. That's a throwback.
It is, but a lovely throwback, actually, a lovely.
Mhm.
To be honest, I did not think that this was as far back as you as 15 years
Mhm.
old. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Yeah, these are nice photos. Thank you very much for all of these. There you
Yeah,
go.
and I love the
And
one with the kids in it. You can tell how invested they are. They're all I mean, they're hanging over the tank, like, they
that is
wanna see
true.
what I'm talking about. So
That
that's
is
what
true.
kids, you give them the opportunity to learn, and they're gonna take it.
That's true. That is true. The excitement in their eyes.
Mhm.
Yeah, hopefully, like, it's the challenge is to maintain that. So whenever you transition them to the next leaders who are going to take care of them or the next teachers, hopefully that, becomes consistent so that fire in their eyes
Mhm.
remains as they grow up. And that was your main advocacy on water and ocean conservation. But of course,
Mhm.
as a Miss Earth USA candidate, you also have a Think Global Act local advocacy. So tell us how your recent experiences changed that
Mhm.
Think Global Act local advocacy into
Mhm.
what it is now. And let's show that big photo.
Yes, so I love these photos from my project. Originally, I was planning on doing a rain barrel workshop, and these are workshops that I've done in the past. I was able to host many of them in high school. Rain barrels are they're attached to the gutter on your house, and it's able
Mhm.
to collect rainwater, which you can then use on your lawn or any of your house plants or your garden. So it's a great way to conserve water because it's just using what Mother Earth gives you. Um,
Right.
because of the pandemic and the strict COVID-19,
Mhm.
gathering rules, especially in California, I was not able to bring that project to life the way it was in my head. And I wanted to be able to do it justice. So I figured I would wait that one out. And hopefully, as Miss Earth USA, I'm able to complete that project. So it ended up turning into what was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. We did a socially distanced cleanup where I partnered
Ooh.
with Chula Vista Water Sports. So I went to Chula Vista, California, and we had individual kayaks. So I
Mhm.
had a large group of people that came out, and we actually went out on the water. And not lots of people have done that for their Think Global Act Local, at least from what I've seen. So I was
That's
able to kind of spearhead a new version of the cleanups and take it actually on the water. So as you can see, I'm in a little kayak there. Got our garbo grabbers and a mesh bag. And then there I am with Ethan, who is actually my assistant director's son, who is an
Oh.
awesome kid and so willing and eager to help and clean up. So that was all the same day, and we had so much fun and can't wait to go do it again.
That definitely looks amazing, based on the photos themselves. So thank you very much for doing that. It's actually a very unique and a very, you know, relatable and
Mhm.
relevant, think global, act local, um,
Yes, and I will
advocacy.
tell you, it was so cold that day, and we powered
Oh,
through it. It was freezing, and as you can see in the it's it was very foggy that day, so,
right.
not what I imagined at all, but what was actually more challenging than I thought was picking up garbage from a kayak because I didn't want to tip my kayak over, but I'm still getting all the trash. And I remember in my intro video, I included a clip of me picking up a lighter from the water because
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
lighter probably took me 15 minutes to get because the current was so strong. My kayak would move and then the lighter would move and I would have to chase it down again. So I included that one because it was the most difficult piece of trash for me to pick up that day.
See, those real challenges, that people don't see, but thank you very much for doing this, for doing these things. Such an effort, but all paying off, of course. So
Mm.
that is actually, together, your main advocacy and your Think Global, Act Local advocacy
Mhm.
solidifies, your, your passion for the environment, and that is such a great advantage for the Miss Earth, USA 2021 pageant. And
Mhm.
thank you very much for all that. We are so excited for your journey, for your Miss Earth USA 2021 journey. And speaking of journey, now part of our journey tonight to get to know Alyssa is, of course,
Mhm.
to interact with her and to ask her questions. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is your time to ask questions. Okay, so there you go. So now is our Earthlings Ask. So please type your questions in the comment section below, in order for us to ask Alyssa certain questions. But first, let me ask you, a question also from our Miss Earth Crown team.
Mhm.
One question is this: so, what is the role of a Miss Earth USA or a Miss Earth, um, in the new normal? Sorry, there was a
Mhm.
missing word. What is the role of a Miss Earth in the new normal?
I think in our new normal, it is more important now more than ever to be that champion for our
Mm.
environment and to be that well rounded, relatable, down to earth girl that people want to hear from, want to engage with, and talk to because so much of your reign now has shifted to that digital age. So you have to
That's
be able to convey yourself through a screen, get across the points that you need and really be that that champion for our environment that our mother earth needs. And I think that's a challenge that I am ready for. I think I've been well prepared for it. And I think a Miss Earth, just, at the core of everything, needs to be compassionate, and she needs to be not only a queen for our earth, but just a queen for the people, because that is what makes an incredible title holder.
Amazing answer. Thank you very much for answering that way. Wow. This is just the first question, and this is like, oh, this is already final question and answer. You are in your final question and answer form already.
I'll pick
That
these
preparation,
ones from the bowl, hopefully.
right? Pick one from the bowl. You will be able to do that, I'm sure. Thank you very much. Oh, before the next question, one comment from Aquaria Velour. She has the best story to tell. If she were
Mhm.
to represent Miss USA at Miss Earth, her being a past teen Miss Earth USA is something she could share to the judges during the interview. I'm sure that that is such an relevant um, experience to tell. So thank you
Mhm.
very much for that comment, Aquaria. All right, now let's look at another question. This time from Linnell. If you were to be given a stage to speak on anything, what speech can you give for the protection of the environment? Hmm.
Well, it's pretty cool because I actually am having this opportunity, not only
Right.
now, but on the Miss Earth USA stage. And as you all have heard in this interview, I am a champion for our oceans, ocean conservation, water conservation. Specifically, a huge issue that I would like to have tackled by our administration is cleaning up all of the waste in our oceans. There are 5 trash gyres that are just circulating in our ocean, becoming bigger every single day,
Mhm.
collecting more and more garbage. And that's a huge issue that needs to be addressed. I remember when I was younger, that number was only one. There was only one gyre, and now there's 5. So,
Mm,
a huge issue that clearly is getting worse by the day. It needs to be addressed. And if I were given the opportunity to meet and lobby for any sort of environmental protection for our administration, it would take precedent priority.
definitely. I agree with you on that. Thank you very much for answering that. I love how you are able to answer these questions completely precisely in such
Mhm.
a short time. So the preparations are definitely paying off. Thank you very much for that.
Thank
And thank you
you.
for that question, Linnell. Linnell has another question, but before we go to her other interesting question, let's go to another one. Chris's Solera Gamutan says, you've touched on this a little bit on the
Mhm.
question that you answered prior to this one,
Yeah.
but if there's more that you want to say, this is her
Yeah.
question. How
Um,
will a socially distanced Miss Earth conduct her duties for the Mother Earth?
I think that watching how title holders, not only from Miss Earth, but from many different pageant systems over the year, have shifted to become more digitally friendly
Mhm.
and conduct our advocacies on the internet has been very helpful for me to see and obviously be a part of. I have a very good friend of mine, Amani Blackman, who she was Miss Washington USA, went to Miss USA, and she was able to conduct Zoom conferences and open it up to the public and really speak to her platform. So I was able to see her be so successful there. I would love to take that to the Miss Earth stage. I would love to be able to just engage with people from all over the world and share my passions and share the mission of Miss Earth, the 5 R's of Miss Earth, and do everything I can to reach every corner of this earth.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. And I'm sure you will be able to do that. And
Mhm.
thank you for that question, Chris. Now another question is from Pedro Braganca Mala. I think he means to say a small phrase to inspire others or to to deal with the problems of the earth.
Mhm.
Maybe if you're given only a few words to say, it's
Mhm.
something that's short but will stick to the people's mind, kind of a slogan maybe. What
I
would
would want to tell people that we all share the same earth. We're all very different in very different ways, but the one thing we have in common is our home and our Mother Earth, and we need to do everything we can to make sure she stays protected.
That is such a perfect slogan, if I may say, for you, because I think every Earth Queen has a slogan that sticks with them that they carry with them
Mhm.
all the time. For example, like Angelia Ong, who you've
Yes.
met in 2015, has this
Mhm.
until now very famous slogan: "We will because we
Well, because we
can."
can.
Right? And yours can be "We share the same Earth." That is amazing.
Mhm.
Wow! Thank you very much for bringing that out, Pedro. And now another question. Here you go from Dinell again. If you are given $1 million, who would you spend it for? The elderly and the abandoned, or the children and the orphans?
I'd have to split it. I couldn't pick. I have very many experiences with both demographics and both groups of people. I obviously love
Mhm,
kids, and I have many friends that were actually adopted, friends who've grown up in foster homes, friends who were essentially orphans when they were younger, and I couldn't turn a blind eye to kids who would need that money, but also the elderly and the abandoned. I've worked a lot with homelessness, especially with our veterans.
mhm,
And something I did a lot as Miss Kansas USA was work with the Veterans Community Project, the VCP, which is kind of a transitional housing opportunity to get vets off the street. And they build tiny homes. And it's
mhm.
incredible the work that they do. So I would want to give a large sum of money to be able to help that organization specifically and others like it.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's definitely a hard choice, between the
Mhm.
elderly and the children and the orphans. So that's such a great answer. That's just a good balanced answer. Thank you very much. And we actually don't have all the time tonight, but
Mhm.
before we actually say goodbye and end the show, one more question. Um, there you go. Yeah. So if tomorrow is your last day here on Earth, how will you spend your last 24 hours to make it memorable?
Gosh. Well, I would hope that somehow I'm gonna be able to travel at the speed of light because I want to see all the 8 wonders of the world.
Mm,
I'd wanna see all the national parks. I don't know how I'm gonna fit that all in 24 hours. I wanna eat all the food, so I'm gonna travel at the speed of light, eat as fast as possible, and see all that Earth has to offer.
that is amazing. Thank you very much for answering that. And thank you very much, Linnell, for that question. And of course, um, aside from that, we are not going to end this without, of course, leaving a mark. You've already left a lot of marks tonight just with your answer, but the ultimate mark. We are going to ask you one final question, and we would like you to complete a. Let me just have that here. We would like you to complete a sentence, and the
Mhm,
sentence is this one. So, if as a woman of the earth, I promise to. So, we would like you to complete
mhm.
this sentence.
As a woman of the earth, I promise to live by the 5 R's of Miss Earth every single day. Rethink, reduce, reuse, recycle, and respect, and inspire everyone that I meet to do the exact same.
Amazing. Thank you very much, right? Such a
You're
short,
welcome.
concise, but powerful, impactful answer. And speaking of powerful and impactful, that is actually what you have done tonight. Create an impact and
Mhm.
show everybody, all the earthlings, the power that you have as a woman of the earth and as a strong contender for the Miss Earth 2021 title. And I'm sure you all of you earthlings will agree with that. So thank you very much, Alyssa, for being with us tonight. Before we go, um, how can our earthlings support you and follow you more in your journey on Miss Earth
Mhm.
Ground? Where can they find you?
You can find me, of course, on my public pages, Miss California Earth USA on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find me at Alyssa Klinzing on Facebook and Instagram. Give me a follow, like my page. Definitely reach out and share your words of encouragement. Send me practice questions that I will need for final on stage question or interview. I love to answer questions. So even if I don't have the opportunity to respond because the next 10 days are going to be really
I'm sure.
focused on making sure that I'm ready to stand on that stage. I do read all my messages and I really appreciate all the love and support that all of my fans from across the world have given me.
Thank you very much. Yes, definitely. That is such a nice offer for people for people to send you questions. That's just a great.
Mhm.
I'm sure, just like some of our Earthlings did tonight, you have a lot of very good, relevant questions to ask Alyssa. So do send her DMs so to let her practice. But this is one thing that I would like to assure you are well on your way to be a strong contender for the crown for this year. So good luck on that. And
Thank
thank you very much
you.
for gracing our screens tonight and today, actually, this
I
morning there.
know, it's crazy. My day's just getting started. It's 7:30 in the morning. I'm ready to go.
7:30 already in the morning. Well, thank you very much for being with us. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we also would like to thank you for being with us on our first episode for the new year. This, of course, is very special and important to us, and we thank you for being with us tonight. With that, in behalf, of course, of the Miss Earth Crown team and Miss Earth MEC TV, this has been Emmanuel Feliciano, your creative content head and host for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And of course, please do watch out for our next interviews because the pageant is less than 2 weeks, I think, right?
Mhm.
But we still have a lot going on for you. And of course, our coverage of Miss Earth USA 2021 is coming up. Thank you very much. So, good night from Japan. Good morning there in America. And please take care, stay safe, and stay healthy. Goodbye, Earthlings.
Bye.